Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the new endgame in PoE, Maven and her invitations. So, introduced in the new Echoes of the Atlas is a brand new, ultra difficult, new pinnacle endgame in PoE. It is much harder than the old endgame we had, and very, very exciting to go up against with your character. So, what is the new endgame? Well, it is pretty much the invitations. The invitation system is extremely cool indeed. When you're fighting endgame bosses, let's say you're doing a layer of the Hydra, you have a chance to drop an invitation corresponding to that boss type. So you were doing Hydra, so you'll drop a invitation based on the Shaper Guardians. So this one here, it says it's got all of the Guardians on it. So what exactly is this? It's a special map item. First of all, we need to look at the Maven's Beacon. So when you're fighting bosses in the new Path of Exile expansion, if you encounter the Maven, you can activate her beacon, and that'll allow her to store that boss in her realm or whatever, and then you can use it for later use. This applies to all bosses, including all the Breach Lords, the Synthesis bosses, the traditional endgame bosses like Uber Theory, Shaper, Uber, all that kind of stuff like that. The Elder Guardians and the Shaper Guardians. That's all 5 different invitations that you can get into. Now, obviously I mentioned a lot of bosses there. When you actually use the Maven's Beacon on these bosses, they become really, really hard. They become extra difficult versions of themselves, and it is absolutely no joke. So when you're in there, she's going to absolutely juice them up in some way or form. Just a few examples of the ways that she can juice them up is she can apply a buff to them, which duplicates the boss. Sometimes, if you're doing something like Shaper, there can be some very nasty overlaps when you use the Maven's Beacon on it. When I was doing it, you know how she puts you in a bubble, and you have the purple balls? Well, she can summon the clone of Shaper in that time to slam you while you're in that shield or beam you. So it's completely insane, and there's a lot of unfair overlaps that you can get on Uber Elder. I've never seen her duplicate both of them, but she can also heal Uber Elder, for example, or make them a lot tankier. She also puts things in the arena like slow zones. She puts these nasty big orbs on them, which are essentially volatiles, but they hit way harder. So there's tons of stuff that she puts in there, but the most notable one here is the healing one. That is the one that is going to be the hardest to deal with for a lot of people, because it really does make the damage requirement for some of these fights completely ridiculous. So if you're just scraping by on Shaper, for example, with the Maven, without the Maven's Beacon active, when she has that, if she does put the heal on him, he heals sometimes 25% or more of his health when she triggers it. So it's a massive damage check to get these bosses down with the Maven's Beacon active. And you're absolutely going to notice it when she heals them. It is completely ridiculous, and it actually makes portal, portal abuse, just going in, very, very difficult because she heals them in between. Very, very hard. So the Maven's Beacon, you're going to activate it on the bosses you want to slay, and that's going to allow them to have the chance to drop her invitations. Very, very cool. Now, what do you do with these invitations? Well, to gain access to and put it into your map device, you see if I put it in now, it won't work. Activation failed. You haven't collected enough bosses. Well, you need to witness all 4 of the Guardians. So you're going to take them all down, no problem. And once you do that, you'll be able to put this map into the device. Now, once you've done one set of these, you'll get a handy dandy little tracker here, which tells you which bosses you've gotten down with the witnessing. And it's going to be really, really easy for you to kind of track which ones are left. So very, very cool. You can see there all 5 of the different invitations. You've got, you've got the Guardians, Elder Guardians, you've got the Synth, you've got the Breach, and the big juicer one. Very, very scary one at the end there. Haha. So yeah, pretty cool. Now, if I had to rank these in order of difficulty, well, actually, we'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the invitations themselves. So you're going to put it in. You're going to put it into the map device. You're going to activate it. What can you expect? Well, when you get in there, you're going to be able to activate the Crucible, the Maven's Crucible, and that will actually spawn 4 Shaper Guardians. Now, they'll be in the bubbles in the side, and it's very, very important to understand how this fight works. So when you start off the fight, she's going to release 2 Guardians at once. So she might release Minotaur and Phoenix. Keep in mind, these will be Maven juiced, so that she's going to be doing the balls, she's going to be doing the stuff on the floor, she might heal them, all that kind of stuff like that. They are going to be much more difficult than your traditional ones. Very, very difficult indeed. So pretty cool. So she's going to release 2 of them, and you'll notice a timer up the top of the screen. This is critical. that is the timer until she releases the other 2 guardians from their bubbles. So if you can actually slay the first 2 guardians in time, in I think it's about 20 seconds, then you can actually have a very easy time at this. And that is the strategy, in my opinion, to getting these down. You want to go glass cannon on soft core at least. I don't know how you do that on hardcore. Go glass cannon and absolutely obliterate them as quickly as possible. Because when you have all 4 of them in your arena, especially with stuff like the Breach Lords, it becomes completely ridiculous. It's very difficult to do anything. If you're a minion build, all your minions die. If you're any other build, you barely get a chance to attack. If you're a miner, well, you're just too good. Feels bad. So yeah, very, very powerful. Incredibly difficult if all 4 of them are active at once. Think of it. You got Phoenix Explosions, Phoenix Cyclones, you've got Phoenix Whirlwinds, you've got Hydra Balls, you've got Hydra Bolts, you've got Hydra Volley, you've got Minotaur Slams, Rocks, and kind of like sweeps, and you've got Chimera. Chimera's actually just a joke, he doesn't really do anything. So yeah, pretty insane, very, very crazy. And then of course, if you get to the Shaper one, you're like, oh, wow, that's pretty tough. I don't know how that would work, if it would release 2 and then 3, or it would release 2, 2, and 1. I haven't done this one yet, but I imagine it's actually pretty crazy. Although I have actually been told it's pretty easy. So yeah, not too bad that. We'll get into the difficulty soon. So yeah, bang, knock them all out, guys. You'll get them down, not a problem. And when you do, you'll get this new Atlas tree pop up. Now go check out my day 2-3 discovery video, because I do talk a little bit more about it, but suffice to say, this thing is completely broken. This is absolutely one of the most powerful Atlas trees on the whole Atlas, for good reasons. If you're playing a boss killer, you want this, you need this. You need to unlock all the points in it. Now, a good thing is you'll notice that you'll get 5 different invitations when we look at the Atlas. So this one here, 5 different types. You'll get 2 points for each, and you'll get a further 2 points for slaying the Maven. So you actually get a total of 12 points. So you can grab 6 notables, which is 2 full trees, or you can grab some extra points, some stuff around here, all that good stuff like that. So you get 12 points, very, very cool. You get more than normal, very, very awesome. I really like that one. Now let's talk about why you would do these Maven's invitations. So the juice, what are you getting? Well, you're going to be getting the brand new Watchstones. They're pretty good. They're actually one of the most powerful things that they've introduced ever in PoE. They are going to be very, 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 very expensive for the ones which you want. Now, the best Watchstones will be the ones in the best areas. So probably Gleneagles Cairns is a good example. Probably New Vestia is another good example, because they both have a Legion in them, and the Watchstones really do lend themselves very well to Legion. But there's 3 different types of Watchstones. So you kind of get into the situation where you'll need the right type of Watchstone in the white region for the people that are farming that kind of content, to be able to sell them to make big money. But in the short term, you can just put them into your Atlas to get an easy Awakener 8, which you can see I have definitely been doing. You can kind of skip half of the Conqueror grind just because you're doing invitations, and you get like a lot of these Watchstones. If you do them, rare, you're going to get tons of them. I've gotten around about 1 to 3 Watchstones on average, and I do mixed rarity depending on how scared I am. So yeah, it's going to be really, really good info for you guys. Super duper cool. Now, when you're doing these things, you also do have a chance to drop some extra loot. You're going to be able to get all of the items that would traditionally drop from these bosses. So if you're doing the Guardians, you can get their fragments and you can get the boss drops. And these drop chances seem to vary, but you generally get about 1 thing off them, minimum. I have gotten up to like 3 Elder fragments and then like a unique in one of them. So you can get different amounts. I imagine it's probably based on the rarity you do it. So if you do it if you Alk it and then Val it, you can probably get tons of loot. But that's going to absolutely giga juice all the bosses, because remember, these things are map items. If you do out them, they're going to get much harder. So it's really the ultimate endgame of PoE. Definitely very, very cool indeed. You can get a lot of rewards, and they essentially act as a duplication of all of the investment you put into those bosses, kind of manifested into this one invitation. So if you can do it, you're going to earn almost double the money. But it doesn't stop there. You're going to get the Watchstones, you're going to get the boss loot, and you're also going to get a chance, well, not a chance, you will get something called a Crescent Splinter. The Crescent Splinters are really, really good. They are the way you access the Maven fight. Once you get 10 of them, you can turn it into a Maven's Beacon, or whatever it's called, and you can fight her. To get these splinters, you need to do the invitations. Now, how many do you get? Well, you're going to get 2 if you do the map white, 3 if you do it blue, and you're going to get 4 to 5 if you do it rare. Maybe if you Val it, you're going to get more than that. I'm not sure. I've been too scared to do that. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, you're going to be getting the juice from this. Very, very strong indeed. In addition to that, you're guaranteed to drop some of the new currency Orb of Unmaking. So very, very good there indeed. So pretty much there's only one other type of invitation, and it's another random drop. These just drop off random bosses from my experience, and that is like another different type of invitation. It's like Maven's Invitation X, like Turns Call or Turns End or whatever. These are how you fight the 10 bosses at once. So when you get the full story done and you're up to doing 10, I think this is 10. Yep, that's 10. You do all 10. You can insert one of these items and you can trigger it, and boom, off you go. You can now fight 10 bosses at once. I haven't done any of these yet, so I don't know what it drops because I've been doing the other ones. So yeah, I'm assuming it's going to drop some Crescent Splinters or some Watchstones or something like that. I'm not really sure. I'll go back to you guys on that later. But that's everything you need to know about Maven invitations. The drop chance on these things are pretty low. I'd probably say it's about 15 to 20%, maybe a little bit lower than that. But as you can see, I've dropped quite a lot, so I think it probably is about 15 to 20% to get a Maven invitation off their corresponding boss. So if you did, for example, 5 Chayulas, you'd probably get one. 5 Shapers, you'd probably get one. That's kind of the rate I've been feeling anecdotally. I haven't, done thousands of bosses or anything like that, but that's how I've done it. These ones here, I'm not sure what the drop chance is on that. They might be rare, they might not be, I'm not entirely sure. But there you go, guys, that's the juice. That's all the info. If you want to see me doing these live, you can come check me out on Twitch. Plenty more info coming, and you can actually check out my live Maven video, my kill. I'm going to upload it raw on YouTube. You can check it out. It's definitely been a blast. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, cheers.